Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? Well, all of a sudden I've got a lot of RPG related stuff on my plate in one way or another. Got a few things I'm playing in at this point or starting to play in or preparing for, depending on what stage the game is in. Things I have to read, things I just want to read, things I'm talking about, which is, so I'm just kind of figuring out how to spin all those plates. Maybe that's the wrong metaphor or analogy, and do things in my regular life. This is what I asked for, so I'm happy. But it's a challenge. So a good challenge though, and we all need good challenges in our life. Anyhow, I want to talk about one subject, but before I talked about that subject, because I've got so much rattling around, just wanted to mention a couple videos, few videos actually that I watched that I really enjoyed. I might even actually go back and make some kind of responses to these. Watched videos by Same Old G and Mobius Method, both talking about their first impressions of playing 7th Sea 2nd Edition together. So it was really kind of neat to watch both of their impressions from different angles, and that was really kind of cool. And I had a lot of impressions from those impressions. So I wonder if I should make a video about that. But really neat to watch. It's like kind of like the recaps that we did for All for One, but a little bit different. They're just looking at different parts of the game or different parts of their experience. But it's really kind of neat to see that. Especially when Mobius was talking about what a great GM Same Old G was for that system and what a good GM he was. So it's really kind of neat. It's a little camaraderie. Anyhow, second set of videos I watched was one about Styles and Intentions by No Inquisitor, which he made about a year ago, I guess, and it just kind of popped up on my feed. Says you might like this, and then watching another video, he talked about his own RBG style. I haven't quite got through that, but that was really neat too. So what I've got to talk about today was something I just was thinking about as I'm driving somewhere early this morning, and it was about I talk a lot about the whole model thing lately. It's amazing, like what's happened in like the last like 6 months or so in terms of my perspective, my thinking, and just using some words I didn't have before to describe what I might be thinking or what might be experiencing. And like all things, it's a model. It's not perfect, but the words can kind of help us along a little bit, and or these concepts can help us along and figure out what we like or don't like, or what are we actually experiencing, all that kind of stuff. But thinking way before all that, when I was a kid, as I read a lot of fiction, I don't know if my experience was different than other people's or different than everybody's. Or I fell into one group. I really didn't think about that at all as a kid. All I know is this: I really didn't. I enjoyed the stories. I like things to happen in the story. It wasn't so much about them being epic or whatever. I just like for stuff to go on in the stories. But what I really liked, as a story grabbed me, any sort of fiction, fantasy, science fiction, whatever it was, I started to imagine myself, like I wanted to be in that world. I wanted to, see what it was like. I always used to think, as I was a kid, wouldn't it be neat if I was in Middle Earth or Narnia or in, um, a bunch of science fiction worlds that I was reading about, fantasy, whatever it happened to be. Always used to imagine, used to kind of daydream myself actually being there. And what would it be really like? What would I do if I was there? Would I do if I was a member of that, group of people doing whatever in that situation? And I don't know, thinking about it more, whether that kind of dovetails in with or just was a foreboding or omen for the fact that I kind of like a game style where that's how we approach it. Maybe it's not me, maybe it's not an avatar of myself, maybe I'm playing the role of a character, I'm playing the role of another person. Because often when I wondered what I would be like, or what it'd be like to be me in that situation, it was a cooler, different version of me, with more abilities and powers, or just that was able to do different stuff. However, nowadays, not only do I want to like play some kind of more powerful avatar of myself, but what would it really be like to be this different person with these different motivations or different outlook on life, etc. So I wonder if my approach to reading fiction, as a child and now, to be quite honest with you, I find myself doing the same thing, daydreaming about a story or whatever. I wonder if that's just kind of a hallmark of people that prefer playing in that style. I don't know, but what has your experience with this been? If you've kind of done some thinking or talking about or reading about like the models of gaming and what um, game styles you kind of prefer or gravitate towards, does the way you enjoy fiction, whether it's movies or books or whatever, does that kind of line up with it a little bit? I'd like to hear your reactions and opinions on this. And think about it for a second. Maybe I'm just on to nothing, but it was one of those things you think about when you're driving someplace.